Right, I'm out at Dawlish Golf Club. We're testing Ts2 Ts3 Titleist drivers. Now, I've been on quite a long journey with these clubs. It's been really fun and an honour really to be part of watching this club from its ideas through to testing with different staff players, to come in here and actually trying it and showing it to you lot down this lens. So let's show you where this journey begun. What was it called?
TS2.
So even though it doesn't say TS2 on here, we're on TS2, so we're on the new club. I'm gonna hit some shots. You guys want to know what I feel from
Absolutely.
it, from visual sounds, and how it feels like when I deliver it, basically.
Absolutely.
It looks, so it feels less lofted. When
That head physically does have less loft on it, but as we talked about yesterday, dropping that center of gravity and removing the active recoil channel is helping us to maintain similar launch angles.
Yeah, so looking at it, I'm seeing less face.
Exactly.
It doesn't bother me. It looks straighter.
Across?
Yeah, so it looks cleaner rather than so rounded.
Based on the increase to the inertia, we've also flattened out that bulge radius slightly, which helps us to control that gear effect side spin and bring in the accuracy.
Yeah, because it looks straighter. A better hit. So I'm liking that flight. So it feels straighter out here.
Yep.
From that one.
Is that look, what does it visually indicate to you?
Well, it feels like I can visualize what I'm doing with the face more, even though the shots didn't reflect it. That's me. I would feel like I'm quite definite with where I'm pointing that. That one feels like I'm pointing a circle more.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So I'm hitting it almost like with that end.
A little bit more like how with an iron you know exactly kind of where
absolutely.
that
It's much
face
more
is pointed.
definite.
Good ball there.
This is a different sound or not?
Well, what are your impressions?
Well, it feels, I would say, firmer, a bit louder, not as dull.
Different technology between the two heads, and so that will influence the sound characteristic and the quality of it.
So let's take a close look at the tech in TS2 and TS3. What we're going to get from the two. So let's start with the TS2. Is we get slightly more stretch back in its design. This is the higher MOI than the TS3, so in effect the more friendly on off-center hits, and because of that we do actually see on TS2 slightly straighter in the top lines compared to TS3. TS3 is slightly more rounded pear shape in its design. TS2 has this slightly straighter top line, so the curvature of the base, roll and bulge this way and this way is there to help with off-center hits. If the club is more stable, which Titleist is saying this is the most stable club they've ever produced, they don't need to have quite such an aggressive roll and bulge because they're going to get stability from twists from how much they've pulled the weight away from this face, which they've done from stretching it back. Now with both of these drivers, they're going for speed, Titleist Speed, TS2 and 3. We've got slightly different aerodynamic shapes, they're saying, which has given us a little bit more speed in delivery. We've got a very different face on these ones, so it's thinner than they've made it before. It's got variable face thickness inside, but it's the thinnest, fastest, and the kind of most highly measured for tolerance, they're saying, on different strikes on the face that they've ever produced, allowing them to keep you right up at that max from as much across the different parts of the face as possible. Biggest difference in design as well, we see TS2 is very clean, fixed weight at the back, all the way low and back. In this one we get the sure fit neck, so you can still dial in using sure fit neck to make sure you're getting your right lofts and lies to try and help you find target as much, and as well help you with your strike. Some fitters I've worked with, certainly the guys on tour, they change the lie sometimes to influence where strike is on the face a little bit, which is interesting. So it's the thinnest titanium crown they've ever made, which is where they're making all their savings to allow them to make the thinner faces, move the weight into the positions they need it to try and maximize this distance that they're going for. We will check the numbers dry ball and on the course as the video goes on. Now with TS3 we do get this kind of X-Men design on the back, which looks quite funky. We also get the sure fit CG, which we don't in TS2. TS2 is much more clean in its look with the changeability coming from the neck and obviously what loft you purchase. So in the TS3 we have the sure fit neck here at the back, which we've seen for a few generations, and what we're getting with the sure fit CG, which we didn't get last time, slightly redesigned cartridge. So good for the fitter. You can take this off, put it on the other side, you can literally move it around to where you want it. So rather than having 2 or 3 of these, it's one, and it's simply a magnetic moving the weight to move it heel or toe bias to get your heel, your jaws and your fades. We've also lost compression channel on the bottom of both of these drivers, as well as gained a darker black finish. If I bring in a 917 here on top, you can see the more grayer finish, and we've also gone back to the lineup line now, pointing back the correct way. It was switched around, I think, for this one or the one before, where now we've got it pointing back forwards. So TS2, TS3, let's get out on the course and see exactly what we can do, and we'll show you some dry ball data numbers as well to see if they are actually any faster. And here we are on the course, TS2, TS3, so it is quite still distinct, the different shape. Definitely straighter in 2 on this side. Up on the toe end it's straighter, where the TS3 is more rounded and more traditional. And I've had both of these drivers for a few months now, and to be honest with you, I flipped between the two. I'm kind of settling on TS3 for looks. I just love that pear-shaped look, but I do fall in and out of love almost with TS2. The straightness sometimes does look really good down by the ball. Some of the tour players are remarking almost, and I don't really believe this, but I understand why they kind of say this, almost felt like they hit it too straight. And what they mean by that, I think for lots of people watching this video, they want too straight, but for a tour pro they want to be able to shape and see shapes. They want to be able to move their driver the same amount as they have any other driver before, and I don't reckon TS2 stops them doing that. It's just the straight line of that top leading edge makes them feel almost that they can't do it as much. So I've hit shots there with TS3 and TS2, both very equivalent hits. Let's get up there and see how different they are in distance. Definitely when I first tried TS2, TS3, the two did sound tingier louder. It's possibly a fraction more tingier louder now, but it's almost impossible to tell the difference between the two if you were to blindfold me and get me to hit them. So one of these is the 3 and a 2. So I've got the TS3 as a 3 ball and the TS2 is a 2. You can see they're almost even. It's the Titleist 3, which is the TS3. That's obviously my 2 ball. I mean, it's like a yard in it, really. Next to nothing in it. Now I've collected some dry ball data as well. Let's go inside and see how that stacks up to what's going to continue or not out here. TS2, TS3 numbers for me and Dan Hendrickson. Testing here just to give you more numbers. So look at my average on TS2, 264 carry. Calm down. What throws the numbers slightly, if you look at the top hit here, the 275 carry, it's spinning at 1.6. That's my ultimate knuckle ball. So it's not even my highest ball speeds. Look at 154 launch high low spin. You know, it's giving me that kind of ultimate number, but I'm not really hitting that shot. I'm hitting that shot 1 in 30. So if I take that one out, that brings me down to my 262 with a 266, 264. So it's certainly on my healthier side of 262, which is where hopefully the speed is slightly coming out. But I would still put this in there as a 262 driver for me. Dan TS2, he's spinning it at 3,000. I was spinning mine at 2.6. He's averaging 250. His longest hit here at 257, which carry for Dan is very good. Now Dan is changing his swing at the moment, so you're going to see a bit of a change as we go on to TS3. TS3 for me, 262 average. You're seeing 2.7 spin TS3 and 2.6 in TS2. That's quite interesting because as I've tested this club over the amount of months I've had it, TS3 does offer a little bit less spin as a general rule, but they're much closer than I've ever remembered two different clubs being. Much closer. Now Dan does get TS3 changeovers in spinlet, so he's 2.7 in Dan's numbers here of TS3, and in TS2 look, his numbers averaging at 3,000, so he does see that 300 revs difference. But look at the carry for TS3 for Dan, hitting this batch slightly better, 2.64, topping out here at 2.67. Dropping the spin down to 2.99, so he's getting noticeable difference over TS3, TS2. If I was fitting Dan, I would ask him to repeat this test, as in show me that again, because I think that was much more down to the quality of strikes, and like I say, he's playing with his swings, so that's moving as well. But for him, TS3, I'd be surprised if he doesn't choose that, if he went Titleist way with the driver. For me, 2.62 carry, 2.74, launching at 14 degrees in the TS3, topping out at 2.68. Definitely on the faster side of 2.62, but for me, they are both 2.62 numbers. The numbers are strong, the numbers are healthy. It's called TS, Titleist Speed, Titleist Project for Speed. And I think they're finding it. They're engineering the head, like I said earlier, to, you know, make it as fast as possible. And I'm not saying it's going to be faster than what's already out there. I think it'll be faster than the older Titleist product, 917, because I think that's fast out in the middle, but when you start getting away from certain areas, maybe it's not as fast as others. But the only real way for you to know or test that is for you to go and test it yourself. I'd love to hear. For me, certainly healthy numbers in creeping over the 2.62, which other drivers have done in the past. Don't be fooled. Other ones have snuck over there as well. You drop the spin off and you just get it like the perfect hits in a data set. For me, those numbers still are 2.62, but they're absolutely on the healthy side of 2.62. Why don't I do more of those and Matt's around? Stiffed it. I don't stiff 60-degree little chips very often. I hope you're watching this, Matt. Look at this for an afternoon. So I'm going to try now on this beautiful par 4. See on the right, gorse on the left. There is a green up there. I'm going to try and hit a draw on the target with the TS2 and a fade on the target. Let's test this idea of shaping a little bit. Let's go draw to start TS2 right into the sun. See if I can shape it into that flag. Drawing back lovely. I mean, that's just not a problem at all. I'm going to be far away. The same thing now. I'm going to cut this one in there, so I can start this at the left and move it back. Absolutely no problem. I mean, they're going to be on top of each other, subject to bounces. I mean, I'm happy. I understand face the path and how to control it. The fact that that straighter line is there, I think it's going to play into lots of people's minds of it feeling like they can keep it straight. No problem shaping them at all. But it is going to be interesting to see what shape people prefer out of 2 and 3. 3 is definitely the more classic. The same with me, and it'll be interesting if you have the same ideas. I'm like switching between the two because the 2 it's straighter than I've seen in a Titleist driver before in that top line. So here's my fade just on the right side, and there's my draw. That's me. That's all my doing. It just shows, even when you talk to the best players in the world and some of the top players in Europe, they're seeing things, they're bringing preconceptions, they're proving with their statements that it's so important that they get custom fit, try it on the course, go and hit it. as much as you should. Should we have another go at a little 60 fiddly? Let's put the camera this end this time so you can see me dunge it. Oh, yes please. Watch that, coach. TS project. What about Lob It Stiff project? What about the LIC project, eh? That was blooming lovely. It's been a fantastic journey for me with TS2, TS3. Obviously, I'm sponsored by Titleist, so you make whatever you want of this review. It's still my honest opinion. I've been honoured to be part of the journey with Titleist, but as hopefully you're all learning, Titleist just want me to give my opinion. It's something they respect, which I appreciate, and hopefully I still deliver it. But the best thing about this is that if you don't trust my opinion, or you don't believe it, or you're skeptical, which is fine, go and test it. You're watching this review on a day where actually the clubs are now available for you to go and test. They're not released yet, but you can go and test them and get your orders in or not, subject to what you want to get. Remember, always buy the driver that's right for you. Always go and test first. That's all I would ever ask and ever have done. I'm impressed with this driver. I'm happy to have it in my bag. If it didn't come out, I'd still be happy with 917, but I'm not going to give away the possibilities of it in a 274 when I get that knuckleball. So I'm at the moment going more TS3, but it'll see how I change between TS2, TS3. Post comments down below, let me know what you think. Are you excited to have a fast, Titleist driver out in the marketplace? I'm quite enjoying the fact that there isn't loads of ridiculous taglines as well. That's what I quite like. There's no silly, made up kind of little words. All we've got is a club they've tried to make faster. It seems a fraction faster. Will it lower your handicap that you're hitting it 4 yards further? I don't think so. But it's still a great looking performing driver in my opinion. Comments down below, let me know what you think. As always, thanks for watching. Is it a driver you will test or not? Are you a bigger fan of X, Y or Z? Let me know down there. Speak to you all soon.